Hello guys, welcome to Nigra Techist. In this video, I am going to explain unit testing in Angular application. So using this unit testing, we can test our components and the services, or else we can have the pipes and directives. So in this video, I am plan to cover below topics: how to test the components, the HTML and the TS file also, and how to test the services. And the finally very important thing is how to debug the testers and testing the utility API. So these are the topics I am going to cover. First, let me go to my application. I am going to run the existing or else the default test cases. So after that, I will explain everything in the detail and we can create our own test cases also. For running the test cases, we have the command is called ng-test, or else we can use the run npm test also. Basically, this command will build and it will generating the browser of the application, and it will create some separate tab. In the tab, we can see the test results and we can do our debugging also. So it will take some time initially. Okay, see, it's creating one new browser tab. Okay, fine, it's loading. Okay, great. Okay, our screen is loaded. If you noted here, 8 specs. Totally we have the 8 test cases. 8 are passed. We don't have any failures. And also if you are checking the files, the app component and master services, home component and contact. I'm just selecting this app component. So in the app component, we have the 3 test cases. And the very important thing is our complete testing is running in the Karma. So Karma is nothing but, so it's a node-based testing tool that allows you to test your JavaScript codes across the multiple real browsers. And also in our Karma, we are using this Jasmine. The Jasmine also the kind of testing framework. It's a behavior-driven development framework that also playing very important role in the Karma. So this is all about the configuration. Now let me move on the spec file. So we all know what is spec file. The spec file is basically used for the testing. So whenever we are creating any services or component, it will generate the spec file also. So in the spec files, initially we are importing this test bed. So the test bed used to do the configuration and initializing our testing environment, and also it will provide some methods. Using that we can create our component, and we have to define our services also. For defining the services, we have the method is called inject. So let me show that also. If we go to the services spec file, so we are initializing this master services, and also it has one method, the configureTestingModule. This is similar to our ng model. For the testing purpose, it will do the model related activities, and also we have the one more file for the routing. So yeah, the router testing model. So it is set up the routing related for the testing. And the notes, I am added two important points. So use prefix fr in the specific unit tests. So if you clearly noted, so it's running the application. I mean, it's the test is running. It will take complete test cases from the application it's running. In case if I want to run only for this app component, we have to use the option. So let me show you. And this is our spec file. So the spec file is starting from this description. You have to include this F. If you are doing like this, it will just execute the test cases from our app component. See, so it's executed, others are simply disabled. Even the result also ran 3 out of 8, and these are the 3 passes, and we don't have any failures. And the one more thing, so in some cases I want to execute test case for the particular test case only, not for the complete component. In that time I have to use this if for the particular test case only. So we can see the output that also. See now, so only one test case is run out of 8. So same way we have the keyword is called X. X is for ignoring. So in some scenarios, I want ignore only this app component, except this app component I want run all the test cases. Then I have to use this X. So it is just ignoring the app component. See the result? It's just ignored this app component. So it's saying 3 bending specs. Other than that, we don't have any failures. The same way we can apply for the individual test cases also, the X. Okay, fine. So as of now, we talked about the test bed and router testing model and executing test cases for the specific test cases or else the specific component or the services. Okay, great. Now I'm going to explain these test cases for the components. So this is our first test case. So it is basically checking whether the component is loaded fine or not. So using this test bed, we are initializing the component and we are getting the instance using this component instance class. So once we got the component, we are just checking true be truthy. So using this method, we are verifying it's loaded or not. So now it's a straightforward. In some cases, not in some cases, in the real-time application, we have some API calls. That time it has more dependencies. So in that scenarios, we have to include all the dependencies. Otherwise, even this test case also throw an error. So anyway, I will explain while explaining the services. And the second one is very straightforward. Okay, I am trying to give this F for this one. So here the same thing, we are getting the component and getting the component instance. So once we got the instance, we can access all the declared variable or else any functions in the component. So I'm just checking this title is equal to this LAN angler. So we can check. So initially we have the LAN angler. I am trying to give some values here. Okay, see. So it's failed. The app component should have a title as LAN angler. Actually, we have the LAN angler with the test. So even here also you can see the similar messages. And we have one more keyword. Instead of using this equal to contain. Okay, I think now it will be cleared. Okay, anyway, we have the LAN angler in our component. That's what. Okay, great. We have completed the second test case. And the third one is checking for the HTML file. So in the component, we all know it's a combination of TS and HTML file. So I'm just taking the same thing. In the fixer, we are getting this component. And after that, using this native element, we are just defining the HTML content. Using this query selector, we are checking do we have the class like this? It's similar to our jQuery, we have the selector. Okay, if I'm go to the HTML file, yes, we have the class. So inside that, do we have the element is span? Okay, we got both the things. After that, we are checking the text content. So text content dot true contains welcome. So we have the welcome. That's what it's coming in case if I'm not removing. Sorry, if I'm just removing, just giving test, then it will show some error. See now it's throwing an error. Filed. See. So expected the testing to contain welcome. So it's expecting the welcome. Actually, it is having just testing. So that's what it's showing an error. So okay, great. Now we have completed the components. Let me move on the services. The services basically we can verify in the two ways. If you are checking very straightforwardly, we don't have any client call, then it's not an issue. It's very simple. You just to see one function was there. I'm just passing the values, checking the role. If it's admin, it will throw return the true or else it will return the false. But when the problem is coming means we are consuming the external services. That time we supposed to use the HTTP client. So we can see that scenario, that is very important one. So one of the real-time application have one method is called get customer. So basically we are consuming the external services, so it's expecting the HTTP parameters. So let me inject the HTTP client here, private HTTP client. Okay, we have done, and also I want remove all the F. So here after I need to run everything, or else at least I have to run this description. Anyway, here only I am going to consume everything. In the application point of view, I am creating this show customer, and here I am just consuming the services. See, the services, we have the function is called get customer. So the service is already injected. So I'm just getting the get customer function, and I'm doing the subscription because it's the observable thing. So getting the result, and I'm assigning the customer list. So once I got the value here, I'm just binding in one of the list. This is the normal expected output. But when I'm going to the testing, it will throw some error. So function point of view it's fine, but in the test case point of view it's showing the errors. So we can see the errors. So actually we are trying to run the three test cases from app component. The initial itself it's showing the error. So that's what I mentioned. If you are not providing all the dependencies, the initial test case itself it will throw the error. So okay. So what are the dependencies? So we can see the error message, then only we will clearly understand. See now, the master services, the HTTP client we are using, but we are not provided. So let me provide this one first. So we have the imports. So here we need to provide the HTTP client testing model. So it belongs to, let me check, at angular.common.http/testing. Okay, great. Now the reference is included from, okay, sorry. Okay, fine. We have included the HTTP client model, and we are using the services. We supposed to use the provider option here. So everything in the array format. So our services name is master service. So see now all the results are passed. Okay, great. And the very important thing is the component point of view. We have this show customer. We need to verify this function. Okay. For verifying this one, first we are checking whether we logged in or not. In the logged in function, we are checking do we have the values in the local storage. For this is testing purpose, so in the constructor itself I am added, so definitely we have the values. And once it's done, we are just calling this service method, and we are subscribing, and we are adding into the customer list. So let me create the test case for this one. It get all customers. Okay. And the second thing is we have to use the function lambda expression. Okay, done. And so initializing the component and getting the instance, these two are same for any function. So we got it. So up to this is fine. And if you check the real function, we have the is logged in. So here we are checking the local storage that cannot be accessed directly from our specs file. So for that we are using the spyOn file, something like that. So for that we can use the spyOn function. So basically this function used to we can set some fake values. It's expecting two inputs, one is the object and another one is the function. After that we can set some values. So let me use our component we defined using this app. So inside that our function name is logged in. So here we need to set some fake value for the testing purpose and dot the return value should be true. So okay, this is done. So definitely it will return the true, so we don't have any problem. And in some cases if you have any functions you want just to ignore, means we can use the stub option. Using that we can just ignore any functions. Right now we don't have any problem. And the second thing is services. For the service also we cannot use the services directly, so we have to specify here. I mean we need to initialize it. Service equal to fixer dot, so debug element dot injector dot get. So our service name is master service. Let me use the constant keyword. Okay, fine. And the very important thing is, so the service have the function is called uh, get customers. Here actually we are calling the real-time API. For the testing API we cannot call the real-time API. Instead of that we have to set some values. I mean we have to set the fake values. So let me come to the testing file once again. And again we have to use this spy on option only. Now I am passing the object as the service. So inside the service, if you see we have three functions. So our function name is get customer. Okay, and return value. The very important thing is any service basically will return the observable value. So initially we have the default value. I mean the direct value we are assigned. And now we have to assign the observable value. So let me use the keyword is called OF. It belongs to the observable. And it's supposed to import the reference from rxjs of. Fine. So after that basically our method will return the array. Inside that we have an objects. I'm not going to specify all the fields. I'm just declaring one field name, RAKHESK Rakesh. Hereafter our API does not going to call the real-time API. It is just returning this value. That means once it's crossed this line, so in the result, it's for this result, it's assigning the values from our spec file itself. Okay, now we can call the function. So app dot, and our function name is so customer. So now we can verify or test expect app dot so customer dot to equal of. So whatever value we declared here, we can assign the same value. That's it. So it's not a so customer. Actually, we are assigning into the customer list. Let me verify. Yes, we are assigning into the customer list. So okay, we have done our function well. So I think it's success only. We can see the result. Yes. So totally the four functions are executed fine. So the very important thing is if you are calling any method, if you have any dependency like the current thing, if you clearly noted, we have included this HTTP testing model and we have included the service in the provider side. If you are providing all the things, it will work fine. Otherwise, it will throw the error. So now great, we have completed our testing for components and services. So anyway, we have completed the testing for components and services. Now let me move on. How to debug the services. So this is our UI. Now I want to debug this get all customers. So let me click this debug option. So again, it will showing all the functions here. I need to inspect the element and let me go to the source side. It will load all the files. So our required files are available in the web pack. Inside the source, let me go to the app component. So this is our spec file. So we can see all the files. And now I am putting breakpoint here, the 42nd line. Now I am going to refresh the page once again. See now, it's coming. So all the objects are coming. It's moving forward. In case if you are facing any errors means we can use the console also. If you are using the console, we can see the console itself. And here also, if you are assigning the values into any of the object, we can verify what kind of values are coming or not. We can verify based on that. We can close the things. Okay, great. We have done all the things. So in the interview point of view, they mostly will ask this kind of questions. What is TestBed? Basically, TestBed is the class. It is used to configure and initialize the environment for the unit testing. And also it will provide some methods to create the components and initializing the services for the unit test. And the second very important thing is what is router testing model? This will set up the router related activities for the testing. And the third one is configure testing model. This method will do the similar activities like an NG model. The final two are very important things, how to execute the specific unit test. Okay, hopefully you will got some better idea about the unit testing. Still, if you have any doubts or clarifications, please post in the comment box and also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. In my next video, I am going to explain HTTP interceptors. Thank you.